What do you love about amateur radio? What do you enjoy about it? What draws you to it? What got you involved in it? I want to hear your views on it, but I'm going to start by sharing some wonderful responses I got posting this question in some groups, and I'll put the group links below in the message area. Jeff said, I enjoy the general goodwill and friendship formed over the airways. I miss my friends when I don't have the opportunity to check in the usual nets. I think that's great. Robert, it's a diverse hobby with so many choices to get active on. Also, most amateurs are friendly and helpful, whether in a QSO or eyeball contact. I'm mostly a CW operator, which is shortwave, meaning Morse code, but also get into digital modes. Active 64 years and still enjoying it. That's great. Jerry, I also like the fact that there's something in the hobby for everyone. We have hams who are blind, deaf, with multiple challenges. Kids as young as 5 to 7 have passed the technician class exam. There are hams who are over 100 years old. While there are about 750,000 of American hams, there are approximately 3 million hams worldwide at last count. We can communicate by voice, Morse code, digital communications with PC connections, TV with fast and slow scan, bouncing signals off the moon, bouncing signals off meteor trails and other passive reflectors. We can embrace international goodwill and present a positive example to other hams around the world. I've been a ham for 55 years and it's never gotten boring. I'm helping my 14-year-old grandson get her technical license now, giving me a new challenge. Whoever coined the expression, different strokes for different folks, was no doubt thinking about the great hobby of ours. And he says, Happy New Year's. Charles, the friendships. Don, building antennas and seeing results and the huge difference it makes in having a high gain antenna. You see, as amateur radio, you're licensed to both build transmitters and antennas, having conversations with people all over the world, learning about them and making new friends. William, I enjoy getting QSL cards. Lou, rag chews. That's the conversations that occur in ham radio nets. So ham radio nets are regular meetings where people check in, give their call sign, and then someone organizes it and gives them opportunity to talk, and they'll say, give us your rag chew. There'll be a video on defining rag chew in the future. Jerry, talking to people in different parts of the world, the more remote, the more interesting. Mark, the quality of friends I've made at the local club and on the air. Bob, the simple fact that I can take an action right here that causes a radio signal to be broadcast and can be received 5, 10, 1,000, or even 10,000 miles away. It started with talking to a buddy on CB walkie-talkies a few blocks away, and it took off from there. Mark, I love being a VE and helping others get into the hobby. So he helps as one of the examiners for people taking the amateur radio exams. John, the fellowship. Chad, how friendly and helpful every single person I've interacted with connected to ham radio is. Christy, making contacts all over the world, nice people and valuable knowledge. John, the people that I've met over the years. Also, the way I can take it along with me while enjoying the outdoor hobbies I have. Michelin, I hope I got that name correct. When people see my handheld and ask about my CB, then I get to tell them about ham radio and all the wonderful things we can do, like helping out in an emergency situation. Mike, the utility aspect, having the alternative method of communication when all else fails. Jim, as a young kid, around 8 years old, I got pretty fascinated with how electricity worked. Around the same time, I began developing a love for hearing music. Radio offered music that magically appeared from various locations near and far. As my interest in electronics grew, I found radio the most fascinating thing electronics could do. It wasn't just the local operation of the circuitry, but the propagation that brought airwaves from all over. Eventually, I developed a desire to transmit signals as well and receive them. Ham radio was the best way to accomplish this miracle, but it would take some effort to get a license. It was worth it. I wondered, as I continue to read more and more about amateur radio, I become aware that there were more captivating things to learn about ham radio than anyone could learn in a lifetime. I realized if I chose to be licensed, I could feel the magic of learning all my life. Upon that realization, I was hooked. I hope I have this right. Gastine, practicing daily my knowledge of foreign languages, mainly English, Latin, German, and Russian. Randy, I enjoy every contact made on any modes, especially CW. The contacts always interest me as who I am talking to and where they are. It's a great way to meet people over the airways. I'll close with the few comments that I made, and then I want to hear your views. Why do you enjoy amateur radio? Share them in the comments below and let me know too. I like it because you have to earn your way to pass a test. It requires a commitment to actually learning something and a gateway you have to go through. So there's a barrier to entry into it that to me is very appealing. And at the same time, there's a lot of great people working and committed to helping people who have less means still find ways to get into the hobby. And there's less expensive ways to get into it than almost ever before. I like it because people on the airways generally are nicer than they are in social media and even often in this ham radio discussion groups online. So if you're ever put off by that, remember, get through that. Get past the curmudgeons and the naysayers and get on the radio. You'll find more friendly people. The other thing is, what medium lets you throw out your call sign and say, this is KI4 CFS monitoring. And you don't know who will answer, but you do know that they had to at least pass a basic test and get a license to be able to talk on the radio. And this is really a unique thing I want you to understand that I think is part of the reason there's so many quality people on amateur radio. I like it because there's a structure and rules for learning about transmitting over the airways. I mean, they're everywhere. If we could see electromagnetic waves, we'd be blinded right now. There is electromagnetic transmission everywhere. And this gives you an insight into it. And I think that's one of the things I really enjoy learning about it. Even learning some of the mathematics that I'm a little rusty on for taking the next exam. It's not bad to get outside your comfort zone. You know my saying, life begins outside your comfort zone. You know, the fact is, in an emergency, I would trust most hams way over someone I hadn't met before. So having that backup for communication, which has failed many times in my life. There was an ice storm not many years ago, and the cell phone's locked up. There was a time years ago I was dating my wife, and she had gotten her a ham license. It was in the car. I got connected to her. I said, don't leave your house. It's not safe. She got home, and it was a really bad ice storm, and all the phone lines were locked up. Why do you love and enjoy amateur radio? Look forward to hearing your views and share it online. And the other thing is, if you're a listener and not a speaker, get on the airways. We need you on there. This is Martin Brossman, KI4 CFS Clear. Have a great day.